Hey, hey,
I
hey,
can just say
hey.
it.
Blaine, who are you and what do you do?
Well, you just told everyone my name is Blaine. No, Blaine Liberator, Regional Manager for Dutch Bros Coffee here in Springfield. So it's called the Dutch Creed. It's also known as the Optimist's Creed. That's what you can look it up by. But basically, it's about pouring into others and not so much into yourself. You know, building other people up, criticizing yourself more than you criticize others, not worrying about fear, not worrying about failure, and really just making sure that you are pouring into all the people around you to make them better, which makes you better as a person. And so that's really the basis of what that Dutch creed or the Optimist's Creed is about. Well, I think you can sum a lot of it up by just stoking people out, you know, and taking that time to get to know people on a genuine level. Like, you have to be genuine with what you're doing. And if you're not like actually like stoked to talk to people, then they see right through it. You can't fake being genuine. And so that's step number one. Two is to just love on them. Like, you got to be what your customer wants you to be. One customer might need you to be energetic. One customer might need you to be compassionate. One customer might need you to be quiet, whatever it is. But you got to be able to be what your customer needs you to be. And that changes on a car by car basis. And then the last is just make sure people smile. I mean, just spread smiles and spread joy and make sure people leave with a smile on their face, because that's a lot of what they come for. It's not necessarily the product, which is incredible. I mean, I've had a coffee every day for the last 13 years, so I obviously believe in the product. But it's the experience and the relationships that we build with people. The fact that we're local, you know, we live in this area.
Yep.
We're not a big, you know, living out of the area and not knowing what's going on type thing. We live here. We live in Springfield. We live in Eugene. We love this area. We love the people of this area, the schools and the organizations and all that stuff. And so for us, it's really easy to do all that stuff because it hits home, and it's just, this is where our roots are, and
Yep.
that's why it's so important to us. It starts with, like, can this person capture my attention in a 30-second span when they're at the window handing us a resume or an application? Like, it's not just handing us a resume or application. It's, does this person want to sit here and talk to me? Do I want to sit here and talk to them? Because ultimately, that's what a lot of the relationship that we build with people is based off of, is talk.
Yeah.
And then you figure out as you go along, as you start hiring people, you can figure out who's being genuine with it and who's not. And then when we sit down with them for a little lengthier interview, we ask a lot of, what are your goals? What are you going to do in the next year? What are you doing in the next 5 years? What are you doing right now, today, that you're working on? What's your passion? You know, is your passion math? Is your passion science? Is your passion teaching? What is it? You know, to get to know them on a better level. And then we ask them why customer service appeals to them. Because customer service is something that takes work, and you have to really care about others, and you got to be willing to listen and to be empathetic and to be compassionate and be all those things, but also do it in that genuine way. And so this whole process, we're really feeling out, like, is that person genuine with what they're saying? Or are they, you know, trying to fake it till they make it, you know? I don't know many companies that don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
To be honest. And we talk about it on a really consistent basis at Dutch Bros, about how you represent not just the company, but yourself on social media. Because it's such a big part of people's lives these days, and it's such an influential part of society. I mean, think about social media and 10 years ago where it was, where you didn't really think about any of that having an effect on not only your employment status, but your daily life, and where we've come in 10 years and what we can do with social media and how we can utilize it as a tool for either good or bad is such a massive part of society now. And so when we are looking at that, we're looking at, like, how does this person represent themselves?
Yep.
What kind of stuff do they post about? And that's not always the end all be all, but it can definitely raise some red flags. And so we look at that stuff, and it gives us a great glimpse, a great snapshot into who people are.
Yep. Obviously, it goes without saying the product is amazing. The coffee is delicious.
Yeah.
Might be a loaded question, but what percentage of do you think your success is the actual product versus the experience you provide?
Great question. I mean, it's just my personal opinion. It's
Yeah.
not. It's definitely not. Probably doesn't reflect what the entire company thinks. But I would say that it's probably the product is a third.
Yep.
And so, the best way I can explain that is actually our 3 core values, which are quality. That's one. And so to me, that's where the drink comes in, right? And then there's speed. Like, are we doing this at an efficient pace that's going to get people in and out in an efficient manner where they don't have to waste, precious moments of their day? And then customer service,
Yep.
which is giant. And I know that that's the one that everyone focuses on with Dutch Bros. But to me, those 3 core values, they're like a tripod.
Yep.
Right? And so we have this tripod with the 3 core values being the legs, and we have the business that's sitting up here. And everyone knows if you kick the leg out of a tripod, the dang thing falls over.
Yep.
And so if we're not observing speed, quality, and customer service as equal thirds, in my opinion, then we're failing the business.
Yep.
And ultimately failing the customer.
Yep.
Because they're the ones who it affects the most when we don't reach those 3 critical core values. To never be afraid to fail, all right? Because fail stands for first attempt in learning, right? And if you are afraid to fail, how are you ever gonna learn? Okay, you have to be willing to take chances and do things that are uncomfortable and get out of your comfort zone, because that's how you learn. Now, when you fail, remember that you always have to fail forward. If you fail backward, then you're gonna end up back in that same spot. But if you fail forward, that means you learned, that means you applied, and that means you grew. And if you can take that and grow with that failing, then that is ultimately how you take steps to a more positive future. I think that you got to go to the top and then work your way down. In our situation, we have a franchisee who's very, very involved locally. And ultimately, when ACS and Relay for Life began the relationship with Dutch Bros, he was the one that started it. But from an employee's perspective, because he was so involved with it, it was a trickle-down effect. Like, here's a passion that somebody that I look up to, not as a boss, but a leader, somebody that I looked up to as a leader is so passionate about something that's affected me, I can get behind that. He's getting behind it, let's all get behind it, right? And so, because we believe strongly in leadership. There's bosses and there's leaders. Bosses lead from the back and tell people what to do. Leaders lead from the front and show you what to do. And when you can get that tippy top person who has a huge influence on everything that happens in the trickle down and how people react to that person, then you got to start at the top, because they can influence every other person that they're leading.
How much weight does it have, though, when your employees say, oh, yeah, I see Kristen come through all here all the time? Like, that probably holds some weight, because I know Kristen's always delivering cookies and ordering coffee and all of that. So that matters, too, to be around, like you said, all year.
And that goes back to the relationship building, the working relationship, which ultimately turns into a personal relationship, between our broistas and the people from your guys' organization that comes through.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah.
Because if we never see anybody, and if people don't build that relationship throughout the year, then it's like, okay, well, there they are. I haven't seen you for a year. Here's what you need. Like, glad we could do it for you. But no, it's not like that at all. Like, it's a true personal feeling. And that's not just because Kristen and I have a great working relationship. She's built that relationship with so many of our broistas. Like, they see her online and it's like, there's Kristen from Relay. And so, yeah, like, she's known as Kristen from Relay. But isn't that ultimately what you guys want? Is like, people are talking about the Relay for Life.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know her? Like, an employee that perhaps doesn't know her yet is
Yeah.
going to get introduced to her as, this is Kristen from the Relay for Life. Well, they're going to ask, what's the Relay for Life?
Yeah.
And now that employee, that broista that knows her, is going to explain what the Relay for Life is and what our relationship is with you guys. And now that person's educated about it.
Awesome.
Right? And so that's the ultimate goal, right? Is to educate more people about it, so you get more people there.
Yeah.
Right? You generate awareness for the cause. I mean, that's the trickle-down effect of building those personal relationships. So it really does mean a ton. I think being pushy is
Yeah.
one. Just completely hounding and saying, you know what, you guys didn't answer us in 5 days. What's your answer? You guys, we wanted an answer 2 weeks ago and you haven't came back to us. So we need an answer. Threatening is another one. Like, well, if you guys don't help us, then this person will. That to me is a big turnoff. It's just like, okay, well, have them help you then, because they're willing. They're there right now. Like, we appreciate it, but no thank you.
Yeah.
And then just being trustworthy, I think, is the biggest other thing. Not that a bunch of people have been untrustworthy, but that's always something that we measure is, like, what is this cause? What's their reputation? Where is what we're raising, funds for or whatever it is going? Like, is there a return on the investment in terms of, like, what are they doing with it? Is it being applied, or is it just sitting in an account somewhere so they can say they have this? Or is it going to a cause that they didn't tell us about, or something like that? So those are big turnoffs. The biggest one, though, I think, is probably, to touch on it again, is just the hounding, the
Yep.
constant hounding, and being pushy, and almost like a bullying fashion. Like, this is what we need it now, give it to us. Probably in how you word stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
I think it's not probably, it definitely isn't how you word stuff. If you attack things like, the follow-up would be like, hey, I just wanted to touch base. I sent you guys an email. I just wanted to check up on it, see if you guys are interested. If you're not, that's okay, right? We totally get it, but we definitely love your product. We love what you're doing. We think you guys could be a huge asset to what we're doing. If you said that to me, other than, I just wanted to make sure you got my email and that we need your help.
Yep.
Like, we've got that before. And
Yep.
and that is a little bit of a turnoff,
Yep.
And you definitely want to try to help everybody, but the people who are, in our opinion, and my personal opinion, the people who are a little more, like, kind about it and ask in a, like, please and thank you type of way,
Yep.
usually get a little more of the thought process. So, when you're out there talking to different businesses and stuff, I think it's important to focus on a couple of things. One, that you're local. Like, you guys are right here. You're not from 10 hours away. Like, you're here local just like we are, right? You live here, you breathe here, you care about here. Being local is so huge. I think another big one is just having passion about your cause.
Yep.
It's one thing to go up and be like, hey, I'm from such and such, and this is what we're doing, and I was wondering if you want to be a part of it. But if you come up and, like, you have an energy about you, and you're educated on what you're doing, and you're passionate about what you're doing, and you can convey that to people through your energy that you're giving off to them, then you're going to grab their attention. And when you grab their attention, now they're going to be more inclined to be like, you know what, I want to know more about this, instead of just shunning you away. So be passionate about what you're doing. But then also, like, be involved, but don't be pushy, if you know what I mean. The one thing I love about the relationships that I have with the people from American Cancer Society here in Eugene, Springfield that deal with us is that you guys are around, but you're around all the time. We've built, like, this great working relationship with you guys that's not just, hey, are you guys going to be at our event? How much did you raise? Thanks for what you do. It's, hey, like, how are you guys? How's business? You know, can we meet a couple times a year? Can we go talk? Can we have a phone conversation? Whatever it is. It's an ongoing relationship, not just when you guys need something, but throughout the entire year. And that's so great that we have that relationship, that you guys can call us or we can call you at any time to say, hey, here are my thoughts. Hey, have you thought about this? Have you tried this? What about this? Having that year-long working relationship that's constantly engaged with constant involvement makes it feel like we're not around just when you guys need something, and vice versa. And I think that's huge. The last thing, and that I really love about what we've done with you guys, and specifically what you guys have done for us, is the thank you. Like, it's not just, oh, sweet, thanks for the check, see you next year. Like, there's follow-up. And it's like, hey, you guys killed it. Here's a plaque, here's balloons, here's this, here's that. And it's not what you give us, it's the fact that you're saying thank you. And it's heartfelt, and it's thought out, and it's genuine, right? That means so much, not just to us, but to any other business, that you guys take the time to personalize thank yous. And I think that's probably the best way to say it, is to just personalize a thank you. Even if it's just going to their office to say, hey, can I have 5 minutes with your staff? To say, you know what, we so much appreciate what you guys do for us. That personal touch on that thank you is just, it makes everything feel warranted. And it makes everything feel like, gosh, I want to do that again next year for these guys, because it really means a lot to them. And so I would say that those are the things that make it the most worthwhile working with you guys, and that if you can do those things, it's going to mean a lot to other places as well. Well, I think the biggest lesson is that I'm not always right.
Yep.
You have to be humble. You have to have humility. You have to listen to the people around you. So I definitely learned to be humble, and that I'm not always right. That was big. Listen to understand, not to reply.
Yeah.
If you listen to understand what people are saying, you're going to be able to help them in a lot better fashion than if you just listen to what they're saying to give them your response. Like, really understand what people are saying. If you listen to understand, then not only are you going to teach those people a lot and be able to guide them better, but you're going to learn a lot in return. And so there's a lot to be said for that.
So, not all of the stands, of course, across the region have been as interested as they've been in Lane County. So if you're a brand new person trying to pursue a brand new relationship with the Dutch Bros in a whole other town, what is it? Is it email? Is it packet? Everyone's so busy.
It's drive your butt up to Eugene and figure out what the Eugene Springfield Relay for Life are doing, and what the people here are doing to maintain that relationship with Dutch Bros. It's not just starting it. It's easy to start a relationship. It's maintaining the relationship. And so if it's anybody out there from any Relay for Life around, I would say ask people that work here in Eugene Springfield, come visit, you can call me if you want, and I'll tell you what's worked and why it's so popular. But if you're just trying to make that initial contact, then the best thing to do is just try to reach out to any franchisee or any CEO or whatever it is of any company, and just say, hey, here's what we do, here's why we're passionate about it, this is what it means to us, and we would love to have you on board. What are your thoughts?
Yep.
But seriously, in all honesty, come check out how the Eugene Springfield Relay for Life and American Cancer Society has built relationships, not just with Dutch Bros, but Dairy Mart and Buy Mart, and all these other incredible vendors. Like, it's not just us. Like, it's a group and collaborative effort that's spearheaded by a bunch of people who are super passionate about what they do and the relationships that they keep. And so I would say, follow in the lead of the people who are leading the charge here, because they're doing it the right way. 110%.
Awesome. It feels like a family.
Yeah, it does. And that's a great way to put it, because it is a big family, and everyone loves family.
Awesome.
So why not?
Yay. Awesome, Blaine. Thank you so much. You've been perfect in every way.
I've been called worse, believe me. I know that everyone thanks us. Anybody that's watching this, thank you for what you guys do. You guys do the great job. You guys do the important job. it's just a blessing, and so we're so humbled and honored to get to be a part of what you guys do. You know, cancer is something that affects so many people locally, regionally, nationally, worldwide, and I think we all look forward to the day when we can say we were a part of finding a cure. And I know that we're getting closer and closer, and that's really what drives me personally. It's what drives many of the people that work for us. And so I just want everyone that's watching this to know that I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your time and effort and volunteer work and everything, because it is something that I admire and that I thank you guys so much for doing. So